So, are you actually having trouble with snacking after dinner? One of the most common issues clients come to me with is wanting to work on this snacking after dinner, right? Well, firstly, there's actually nothing wrong with eating after dinner in and of itself. The thing is, it's just a time that many people find themselves eating because they're bored, tired, or stressed out. And it's really easy to fall into that habit of mindless eating after dinner. So this is not about when you choose to eat the most delicious thing ever and you turn off the TV to savour and enjoy it. I'm all about that. You know that from all my content. This is about the food you find yourself eating and later ask, oh, why did I eat that? This is about the crisps or Doritos that you eat hypothetically while you watch TV, or those biscuits that disappear into your stomach after that stressful day. Bored eating, stress eating, or tired eating is using food to try and fix a non-food problem. Luckily, in my coaching programs, we can work on that. However, what you need to remember is, if you were like me and you did a lifetime of dieting, it never works, because guess what? It didn't actually teach you any skills. Diets tell you that you just need more willpower, or that you just need to try harder. Any of you who've been in certain slimming clubs, you will know that feeling. The problem is you. Okay? You will have been told that. Inherently, you are just not capable of doing this. You need to try harder, work harder. The problem with all of this is that it's simplistic to the point of being stupid. Diet rules are like if a toddler was teaching you how to play a song on a piano and they just kept yelling at you, play it right. There's no skill learning, there's no strategy, and it doesn't look at what specifically you're having trouble with, which is why coaching is important. You do not need more willpower. There is nothing wrong with you. You just need to figure out why you are after dinner snacking. You want to put in a targeted strategy tailored to what's going on for you. What you might need might be different from someone else, which is why it's not good to ask Brenda in the office what she does. So, there are 3 scenarios I want to share with you today. And in my coaching program, we look at what the issue or problem is for you. We look at what's underneath that, and then we work on a strategy and a skill set for dealing with that. So, here are 3 questions I want you to ask yourself about your after dinner snacking. Number 1, are you bored after dinner? Number 2, are there emotions that come up at the end of the day? And number 3, are you eating enough at dinner? Late night eating is a symptom. The cause might be that you're bored. The cause might be that emotions come up. The cause might be that you're actually hungry. Each of those, though, has a distinct strategy and a skill set. So let's look at the first one. Are you just bored? Eating is one way to deal with boredom. It definitely isn't the only way. If you really look at who you want to be about eating, boredom eating probably isn't something you'd choose for yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. It totally works. Eating is entertaining, right? We just don't want eating to be a requirement for us to entertain ourselves. We want more options. So if you have to brainstorm more options, that's okay. This doesn't have to be super complicated. You can look at things like watching a better TV show, picking up an old hobby, starting a new hobby. Some people have done really well just trading that crappy TV show like Love Island for better TV, more engaging TV, TV that actually draws you in. Maybe you look at TV shows on something like Rotten Tomatoes or other, when they're promoted. Okay? Maybe you can look at the top 100 films and tick that off as a list. Whatever it is, if you can't watch it without eating, it probably is pretty crappy and you need to find something better. The second one we talked about was picking up a new or old hobby. This is next level. It's always more engaging to do something. It's fulfilling in a different way. Playing an instrument, crocheting, Rubik's Cube, jigsaw puzzles, playing a video game, taking a class, learning a new skill. So since the pandemic, the explosion of online courses is everywhere. Whatever it is you want to do, there's something fulfilling about doing something you enjoy. And you get bonus points if it takes a little bit of skill. Now, the potential downside of hobbies is that many have a learning curve. A new hobby might take more effort at first, or an old hobby might take some time to get back in the swing of things. But it's worth that effort. In fact, the effort is part of what makes it so satisfying. If you're crushed and you're tired at the end of your workday, finding more passive things to do, like watching TV or taking a bath, can be great. But if you have a little bit of juice, you might want to get even more out of your hobby. The second point we discussed was, what if you're absolutely just worn out at the end of the day? If difficult emotions come up at the end of the day, it's difficult. It's a different issue from boredom, Finding better TV would be okay, but that's just basically a distraction. At some point, we have to learn to notice and name our feelings and actually practice sitting with them. Despite what social media makes it look like, uncomfortable emotions are totally normal. No one is up all the time. Humans just aren't wired that way. It's normal to feel sad when things happen. It's normal to feel frustrated when frustrating things happen. It's normal to feel lonely sometimes. It's normal to feel angry when your boundaries were violated. It's normal to feel scared or anxious of uncertainty sometimes. And it's normal to feel embarrassed when you mess up. You don't need to fix any of those emotions. Those are normal feelings to feel. What we want to get good at, though, is separating the feelings from specific actions. You can feel sad without eating biscuits to distract yourself from it. You can feel angry without using a big bag of crisps to numb it out. You can feel anxious without getting seconds of dinner to help ignore it. The first step is to start noticing your thoughts and naming your feelings. You might want to start off with journaling about what's going on. If you haven't got any journaling, send me a message. I'll send you access to my journaling resources for free. But as a simple thing, you can get a notebook and write this. I notice I'm having the thought about blank. Then see if you can take a step back and just notice that thought. Like you were reading a book and a character had it. Then, with that thought, the emotion I'm feeling is blank. Again, try and take a step back and see how that feeling makes sense, given the situation you're in at the present moment in time. You could even write out what a good friend or wise mentor might tell you about these thoughts and feelings. You can repeat that process multiple times, just noticing the next thought and the next feeling. Just trying to notice, take a step back and do some perspective taking. You could also go through this process in your head while going for a walk. So take yourself outside, go for a walk and ask yourself the same kinds of questions. What's the first thought that I notice? And can I notice that thought as a thought without trying to agree or disagree, judge or engage with it? Then, what's that one feeling I can put some words around? See, the goal here isn't to fix or change these thoughts or feelings. The skill is being able to notice them, name them, and take a step back from them. Just let them be there. That noticing, naming, and willingness to feel, that gives you the wiggle room to make new and different choices about eating. If we can't be with our thoughts and emotions, we have to avoid them somehow. Eating just happens to be an easy way to avoid them, which nobody's going to judge you on. If we want to stop emotionally eating, though, we have to confront learning how to be with our own totally normal emotions. Noticing and naming is the very first step in building the skills of being with your emotions and reducing emotional eating, but it doesn't end there. In my coaching program, we have a series of lessons on working with emotions and eating. Noticing and naming is the necessary foundation. And then the third point we said is, are you actually getting enough food? You might be surprised how often the answer is just more food at meals. Years of dieting have taught most people to eat smaller and smaller meals. Then, because they're hungry, they end up snacking between meals and after dinner. It's just not that they're emotionally eating or that they're bored, they're just hungry. The thing is, most people eat better quality food and eat more balanced food at meals than at snacks. As people start to eat less meals and do more snacking, their overall food quality starts to slip. Worse, humans aren't very good at self-regulating food intake. I mean, eating based on hunger or fullness, because we've lost those feelings over time, and especially with snacks. However, we're way better at noticing when we're full and stopping at meals. But if you're snacking, I can guarantee you're snacking on, high calorie, high sugar, high fat things, because they're snacks. So, what we want to do is take a look at dinner. Are you getting enough food? Are you eating a balance of protein, carbs, fats and vegetables? Are you eating without screens and eating mindfully? Total food is pretty simple. If you aren't eating enough, you're going to be hungry later. Now remember, balanced meals are more filling and satiating than unbalanced meals. If you eat straight carbs at a meal, you're going to be hungry later. On the flip side, if you add protein and fat, it'll be way more satisfying. The screens thing is a little different. If we get distracted by screens, it actually changes the way we relate to our hunger and fullness signals. We will be more likely to interpret our body's signal as hunger if we don't have a complete memory of eating a meal. So again, if you are sat on your phone and you're eating and you're sort of like doing that, okay, your brain's an amazing thing, right? Your body's an amazing thing. You can do multiple things at a time. However, your brain can only process one thing. So think about that next time you're eating and scrolling your phone. And lastly, there are a ton of people who eat a big dinner but don't get enough food at breakfast or lunch. Now, not getting enough food or balanced enough food at breakfast and lunch is also a big contributor to after dinner snacking. It's just that carryover from not having got enough food throughout the day. So, if dinner is your biggest meal of the day by a lot, it probably isn't that you need to add more to dinner. It could be that you need to add more substantial breakfast or lunch. So my question to you is, which strategy are you going to try this week? Take a look at your after dinner activities, your after dinner emotions and your meals throughout the day and figure out which one to go to work on. And remember, if you're having trouble with snacking after dinner, it isn't about adding more willpower to you after dinner time. It's about finding out what's going on underneath the after dinner snacking. We've got to start handling the underlying issue. So, if you're bored, find something engaging to do. If you're feeling stress or emotion, you need to learn to be with that stress and emotion. If you're hungry, you've got to add more food or more balanced food to meals. Even though diets have taught you that the answer to everything is just to try harder, we found it's much more effective to figure out what's going on for you and then put a targeted strategy for that. If you want more information about how we can create that for you, drop me a message, email me at hello@emotioneatingcoach.uk and I will happily jump on the phone and discuss this with you. Have a great day.